Wow, I was really not expecting to be making this video today. Just a little bit of background. I was planning on making a video discussing on how complete I think this Leafs defense is. And I was also going to make a video discussing their deadline as well as everything else that is happening. And by the way, I'm recording this on, what day is it? It is Tuesday, February 28th. The amount of trades that have gone on from Saturday, Sunday, Monday even, and now Tuesday, it's mind-blowing. I want to go through every single one of them that happened, but I feel like this one, it really confuses me. And if you're confused on what I'm talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs trading Rasmus Sandin to the Washington Capitals in exchange for Erik Gustafsson and a first-round pick in 2023, which formerly belonged to Boston. My initial reaction to this, I'm so confused. You know, I thought that with adding Jake McCabe and adding guys like Lafferty, you already have Zach Aston Reese in the line, Noel Acciari, you're adding responsible forwards who can play defensively while also supporting the defense. Your big acquisition, I thought, on defense was going to be Jake McCabe. Apparently not. So just a little bit of a background for you. Oh my God. We just made another trade. What? You guys just got my live react. Yeah, Pierre Engvall's going to the Islanders. This is, wow. I'm keeping all this. This is, what the hell is happening? This is chaos. Okay, I'm gonna try and get back on track here before I go look at this. Erik Gustafsson, a little bit of background for you guys on him. Wow, I can't believe Erik Gustafsson. A little bit of background for you guys on him. He, by just being on the Leafs, becomes the highest scoring defenseman on the team. He has 7 goals, 31 assists for 38 points, and has been a great part of the Capitals' power play, and that's kind of what he's known for. He's known for being a power play specialist, as well as just being a very productive offensive defenseman. Now, on the other hand, what the Leafs are giving up with Rasmus Sandin, I cannot sugarcoat it. You are giving up a budding defenseman who has been a consistent part of the Leafs blue line this year, especially when they were injured to hell and back. I mean, this guy was on the power play. He was playing top minutes. Sandin truly was having his breakout. And then obviously everybody comes back. He gets pushed down the lineup a little bit more. But I feel like this is just, and I guess I'm just getting into the analysis at this point. Giving up a guy like Sandin, I don't understand. And if you missed my live, and the Leafs just got Luke Schenn. What is going on? I'm keeping all this too. What is going on? So I guess this isn't going to be just a Erik Gustafsson trade. This is going to be everything. I am so confused. Okay, I'm going to try and get once again back on track here. So Sandin, 22-year-old budding defenseman. This guy, like I said, he's been fantastic for the team. And then now just trading him away, when I seen him as somebody who could have been part of this team for at least the next 5 seasons, and I know that they had the contract dispute in the summer and that got dealt with, but I never thought that would be in a move where we would have to trade him away. I never seen that, frankly. So Washington, you guys are getting somebody who has potential, in my opinion, to be a #1 defenseman. Sandin is great. Sure, does he need to work a little bit on his defensive awareness? Sure, whatever, you can make that argument. But for what he provides on the offensive side, when you give him the opportunity, it can be great. We've seen him produce on the power play. It's fantastic. But so what does this mean now for the Leafs defense? Just gonna add Luke Schenn now into the mix. Just looking at the Leafs defense, you have Morgan Rielly, you have TJ Brody, who I'm guessing is gonna be your top pair. But then from there, it gets a little bit shaky. Then I put down that you have Jake McCabe and Justin Holl. That's going to be your shutdown line, I would assume. And then after that pair, what is it? Because you have Erik Gustafsson. He's going to play. He just became the highest scoring defenseman on your team. I assume he's going to play. And then you have Timothy Liljegren still, who has been another player on the team who has taken a step this year. But then just off of that, then what about Timmins? What about Giordano, who's also been great this year? And now all of a sudden, Luke Schenn. Where are the Leafs fitting all of these guys in your lineup? And I guess that this is a good problem to have, because you have guys sitting on the wings who can still play. In an effort to add depth, this has been fantastic by the Leafs, But at the same time, I just don't understand giving up on a guy like Rasmus Sandin. I didn't feel like you had to make this move. And I know trusting in Kyle Dubas and doing all of that, but just I don't agree with this one. Frankly, I don't. I love Rasmus Sandin's game. I think he's a great player, and he will be for years to come. I don't see how adding Erik Gustafsson, and I get the playoff experience part of it, I don't see how adding him really makes any sense in the long run of things. If this is about adding defense at the deadline, okay, you did that with McCabe. You've suddenly now done that with Schenn. What was the point of adding somebody who is a power play specialist at heart and is only valued in the offensive zone? The Leafs have guys like that. Sandin was one of them. Riley is the other. I don't see with this one here. So just coming up with grades here for both of these. In just looking at the trades at face value, if you look at what the Leafs get, both Gustafsson and a first-round pick, it looks like a home run trade for them. But when you look up plus Rasmus Sandin, what he was for the team, what he proved he can do this year, and just the ceiling that I think that this guy has as a player, I can't say that I think that the Leafs truly win this trade. Do they win it in the now? Sure. When we're looking at the team and they're trying to gun for a cup, sure, whatever. They win the trade. But when you look in the grand scheme of things, and I know that the idea of winning a cup is the main thing right now, but when you look at somebody who can be a consistent part of your roster going forward, Sandin was that guy for me, and they just gave him up. So just going into these grades, I will give the Leafs a B+ on this trade. Like I said, looking at the trade at face value, it is a great home run trade for the Leafs. And if you're probably going to guess, I'm giving Washington an A on this deal. I think Sandin is a great defenseman. He's only 22 years old. If the Capitals are looking for a reset and they're looking to do it quick, Sandin is a guy that you want part of that, and they get great value in exchange for an unrestricted free agent. And yes, you give up a first-round pick, but like I was going to say with the Leafs, this is a problem that you can solve later down the road. And that's, I think, another thing that I just quickly want to throw in here is that everybody's making a big deal of, hey, we got a first-round pick out of this. Okay, well, we gave up 2 already. If we wanted a first-round pick so badly, this was something that could have been addressed at the draft table in the offseason, somewhere down the road. That's not something to worry about right now. So there's my analysis on this trade. I am going to now go into analyzing the other 2 trades that just went down while I'm filming this video. So please enjoy that. Now onto the next part, and frankly, unexpected part, which I didn't think I was going to be doing. Pierre Engvall has suddenly been sent to the New York Islanders literally while I'm filming this. The full trade is that Engvall has been sent to the New York Islanders in exchange for a 3rd-round pick in 2024. Just without looking at any stats, I've always liked Pierre Engvall as a player. He developed from the Marlies, came up. I still remember his first game with the Leafs. And, he kind of blossomed into a 3rd-line role. He was never going to be, at least in my opinion, a top 6 forward. But him being in the middle 6, playing 3rd line, maybe sometimes tinkering with the 2nd line, I really like Pierre Engvall in his role with the Leafs. However, he is an unrestricted free agent, and I also see how it would make sense for the Leafs to move on from him, even though, frankly, I thought the guy they were going to move on was from Kerfoot. And just a little bit on that, it really sounded like the Leafs were going to move on from Kerfoot when we heard that stuff from Saravelli, where he basically said that he had heard rumblings of something between the Leafs and Kerfoot, which, given what has just happened today, I don't see how that's out of the realm of possibility. Anyways, I see this as a way of both creating cap space for the new guys, bringing back Matt Murray. I know that that's something that they want to do. They don't want to have Joseph Wall in the net for much longer, as well as making room for the new guys, having Lafferty, having the ability to have all of these guys within your lineup while also not having too many and being above the cap. At the same time, though, I really like Engvall's game. He's a very responsible forward who can chip in every once in a while, and he's still relatively young. But I think the thing with Toronto was they capitalized on his value. He's a free agent, and that they were probably just going to move on from him for nothing, frankly. I mean, he would have commanded a raise. We probably would have been able to pay him this offseason given everything that just happened. And so at least getting something for him now makes sense. So at the same time, obviously, you don't want to be giving up a player like Pierre Engvall, like I just said. I understand it. So just giving out grades for this one, I'll give the Leafs a B-. Like I said, I understand. I just don't like giving up Pierre Engvall. And then the Islanders get, I would say, in my opinion, a B. Let's give them a B. Engvall's a good player. All right, so with that out of the way, now let's move on to the third trade. I can't believe that this has all happened. All right, so now on to, and I say very cautiously, the final move of this video is Luke Schenn suddenly being traded to Toronto. And like with the Engvall thing, you can see my live reaction in this video. I'm going to keep that in there. I already kind of touched upon it in the big thing with this, which was the Sandin-Gustafsson deal. This is just more defensive depth, and I understand it. I mean, I would have rather, and this is just going to turn into another critique of, I guess, the Gustafsson trade. I would have rather just made this trade keep Sandin and not have acquired Erik Gustafsson at all. Okay, I'm done talking about that trade. I've already talked about that. I've already thrown my stake into the fire. I'm going to be done with that now. Luke Schenn, been a hot commodity for this trade deadline, as well as somebody who the Canucks have been trying to get rid of for a while now. I mean, the Canucks are just an absolute dumpster fire. They're a fire sale, getting rid of as much as they can. Now, a lot of people will remember Schenn with the Canucks, at least Canucks fans will, from last year where he had just insane chemistry with Quinn Hughes. And that hasn't really carried over to this year, but to be frank, the Canucks have been really bad this year, but Schenn has kind of been meh on a pretty bad team, which can say a little bit about both. Now, for any real old heads of the Leafs, you will know that Luke Schenn was at one point a Maple Leaf. That was many, many years ago. But Luke Schenn, they're acquiring a little bit of physicality. They're acquiring a true, I guess, stay-at-home veteran defenseman who can be a very good hitter as well. Now, one of the issues that I have seen with Luke Schenn is that he does actually take a lot of penalties. Just looking at the Leafs defense now, I'm not quite sure how much he's actually going to play. I mean, I've already been over this with the Gustafsson stuff, and I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But now on your blue line, you have Riley, Brody, McCabe, Hall, Gustafsson, Liljegren, Timmins, Giordano, and Schenn. All of these guys can play in the NHL, and I'm not quite sure that Giordano's going to be coming out of the lineup anytime soon. I don't imagine Liljegren is. I don't imagine Hall is. McCabe's going to be in there, I would assume, and Gustafsson, who's suddenly the Leafs' leading point scorer, is going to be in the lineup. So how much is Luke Schenn going to play? Is he going to play at all, or is he just being brought on as extra depth? Meanwhile, on the Vancouver side, you guys get a third-round pick, another pea in the pot, I suppose. You get value for a guy that you probably would have lost for nothing. So good on you guys for that one. Now, just throwing out grades for a trade for a bottom-pairing defenseman and a third-round pick, I'll give the Leafs a B on this one. Schenn might play, might not. He's probably going to be our... Just looking at it, he's like our 9th guy up. Like, just thinking about this logically, I wouldn't put him ahead of either Timmins or Giordano, let alone any of the guys I just listed. So you get more depth, I guess, on your defense, which is always a good thing. And Vancouver, I'll give you guys a B as well, just because you get a third-round pick in next year's draft. So yeah, barring anything magical that suddenly happens, Leafs have a pretty active last day of February, which is just wild. This is going to make for some great content though, because you guys get my live reactions to trades as they happen. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. What a crazy video to just, while I'm putting it together. So, like, wow. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. If you were part of the live that I did on Instagram just a bit over an hour ago, you will have gotten my live reaction to the Gustafsson one. Y'all know me on Instagram. It's Buzzin' Hockey. Y'all already know what it is. Trust the madness that Kyle Dubas is coming up with here. I just seen this tweet, and I would like to read it out just real quickly. The devil works hard, but Kyle Dubas works harder. Hope you guys enjoy your day, and I will see you guys next time.